Greetings and salutations, everyone. I was given a grand opportunity and was able to ask some juicy lore questions regarding the new and upcoming patch of 11.2, Ghosts of Karesh, mostly in regards to its story. This was quite the big and exciting moment for me, and I can't thank the devs of both Steph and Tina for their patience and awesome answers, and the rest of the people behind it for making it all possible. So, without further delay, let's get right into these questions. My first question is, what sort of characters can we expect to tag along for our next journey, such as Thrall or Rexar, perhaps?
Yes, actually, Misha, Rexar's bear, will be joining us.
Oh.
That's actually it. Steph, please, as our narrative expert.
No, but I mean, Misha does deserve to be front and center. But unfortunately, no, not this time. I think that, like, with the last major content update that we had, Undermined, Illyria's story sort of took a backseat. But, she's right back to front and center for Ghosts of Karesh. Basically, the way that the expansion or the patch starts is Locus-Walker, Illyria's mentor, sort of comes to us in Dornogal and says, "Hey, there's a serious problem happening at my old home world of Karesh. The Shadowguard are trying to resurrect Dimensius, and it's going to be terrible for everybody involved if that actually happens and Dimensius comes and devours what's left of Karesh and the Ethereals, and then set his eyes on Azeroth." So he asks Illyria and the players to sort of like come and help him sort this out. And along the way, we're going to see a lot of cool heroes that we haven't talked to in a little while, like Venari's back in Karesh as well. And there's certainly some surprises in store for the campaign.
Okay. All right. Obviously, that was another question I had, but we know where we're going because of Ghost of Karesh. I guess the third question then would be a pretty big spoiler, but who exactly is going to be our final encounter for War Within?
That's a good one. So while we do have additional, content coming in the War Within, our final raid boss of the expansion is Dimensius. So yes. So we first saw him represented in the Burning Crusade as a little, generic Voidwalker. But now there are rumors that the Shadowguard Ethereals, aligned with the Void, are reforming him. Aligned with the Void, are reforming him in the raid Manaforge Omega. So they built this whole facility at, the edges of the destruction of the planet of Karesh to harvest the energies and reform him. So he got a major glow up, and he is one of the biggest raid bosses ever. The artist who created him did an amazing job with all the details that really capture the scale and epicness worthy of a final encounter.
Okay, Dimension. That's a pretty big guy. I know that guy.
Dimensius the all-devouring.
Yeah, I remember him from Burning Crusade, and he's been a big deal for a while. Excited to see him.
We were joking around that when we started sort of like developing this patch and this content, we were like, hey, what if we just brought the original Blueberry from Burning Crusade and put him straight into the raid? But no, I think the idea to recraft him and make him even cooler was the right call.
I'm looking forward to seeing his true and final form then. His Blueberry form is very iconic, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he looks like. Number 4 question. Galliwix was seen making some kind of deals with the brokers back during Shadowlands, whom we now know have a connection to Karesh. Will we see what sort of deal Jester might have made with the brokers back then?
I think that the brokers are a secretive people. I think that they are very good at keeping those secrets, and whatever Galliwix wheeled and dealed out of them will have to remain secret for now.
Okay. All right.
Question number 5. As we're seemingly going to the homeworld of the Ethereals, well, we are going to them, is there a high chance that we may get to play as an Ethereal, as like an allied race or a playable race?
We don't have any plans for Ethereals as a playable race, but we do have some very cool armor rewards that are very ethereal themed. So you might be able to, role play your ethereal fantasy with those and the Rishi ramps. Like as a whole, though, it's like I'm so excited to see the Ethereals again because so many of our developers are fans, and it was great to reimagine them in full fidelity, and casters and tanks and them and their ecodomes are such a key element of who they are.
Hey.
All right, I love some good new transmogs. Question 6. The last that we saw Xal'atath was in 11.7, specifically during the Lorewalker story, where we saw her strike a deal with N'Zoth. Will we see the implications of that kind of deal in this patch? Will we see a return of N'Zoth maybe through it?
Yeah, let me speak first about sort of the legacy of Erethdor and lore walking. I think that it's been really nice to see community response to lore walking and this new way of telling stories. Like for quest design and narrative, we're always looking for different and new ways to have the players engage with our story and our lore. And lore walking was definitely an experiment for us in that way. The specific mention that you have of new questing involving Xal'atath, I think was really cool. I was super excited to play it. I am sure that there will be implications for the content that we saw during that lore walking. I don't want to spoil anything about the patch or upcoming content, so that'll have to be a wait and see.
Okay. I really love lore walking. That's a very great addition that I really want to see going forward more of. Really great. I love it. Alright.
Question 7. The Dark Heart is now in the hands of FaZe Thief Azir, as far as we know. Is he going to use the artifact for his own nefarious purposes, or will it be delivered to a mysterious figurehead on Karesh? And might it be used for a restoration of the planet or something darker?
Yeah, the Dark Heart has really gone on a journey of late, and it's an artifact of immense power, like you mentioned. I think that it's so powerful that it's probably unlikely to stay within FaZe Thief Azir's hands. And the Shadow Guard are not terribly charitable, I would say, and they have dark goals in mind. I think that for folks like Venari and Locus-Walker, they would be focused on trying to restore the planet, trying to see what life they can gather back onto the shattered remnants of this world. But I doubt that FaZe Thief Azir has such positive goals in mind.
Okay, so he is not a good guy then. Very much not in anyone's not doing this for the good of Karesh. Very bad thing.
I mean, maybe that's just me putting negative valence on FaZe Thief. Like that feels to me like a villainous name. But we'll see. We'll wait and see how that rolls out.
Okay.
I promise the answers are coming in Ghost of Karesh.
Alright.
8. With Xal'atath without her Dark Heart, will we see sort of alliance of convenience between us and her, or is this going to be like a three-way battle between the Ethereals, the Champions of Azeroth, and her?
Yeah, she really took a loss there, didn't she? Like, I really don't want to give spoilers for the campaign and onwards, but she's been so focused on the Dark Heart. We saw her with it in the War Within. She's not the type to stay quiet for too long. So without giving away spoilers, I hope the players really enjoy playing the story and experiencing the twists and turns that come with it.
Okay.
Question number 9 then. We've met Ethereals and Brokers so far. Is there another Ethereal-like race that we haven't met yet and are subject to meet in 11.2 and beyond?
So, so far, all we know of the Kareshi people is through Ethereals and Brokers. We first learned through the Legacy of Erethdor feature of lore walking that Brokers were Kareshi, and so we are always looking forward ways to progress the story and lore in these interesting ways.
Okay.
For question number 10, will we see Nexus Princess Kaivessa make a return along with her mysterious boss? Was Nurubar Palace merely a setback?
We will see Nexus Princess Kaiveza again. She is going to be our nemesis delve enemy. She'll have her own arena where you can really challenge yourself and get that awesome ethereal version of the Delver's dirigible mount.
Ooh. Alright.
Question number 11. Since this is the climactic end of War Within, what are the biggest takeaways from the story from this expansion as a whole versus the past 3 expansions?
So, like, the first thing to note is that, you know, this isn't the final content for War Within. There is additional content coming, though this is the last major content update. So I think that something to really keep in mind is that the Ghost of Karesh is in a unique spot for a patch of this time in an expansion's cadence, where for the first time ever, you know, we are telling a story here that leads directly into the next part of the World Soul Saga. You know, this three expansion saga that really connects together and tells a grander story than we used to in World of Warcraft. So the story that's being told in Ghost of Karesh, you know, specifically connects directly to Midnight and the future expansions, and it sort of like sets the stakes for what's coming ahead. So I'm really excited to see players play through the campaign and speculate. I love watching YouTube videos of, hey, what's coming next? This is what this means for the future of WoW. Sort of videos about what's coming next.
Oh yeah, that's my bread and butter. I love doing stuff like that. Really fun. Great. Final question. Oh, man, we went through this really quickly. I figured I wouldn't be able to answer all these. Question number 12.
Cinematics have been the best way to show pivotal moments in WoW's history, considering Shadowlands and Dragonflight's improved quality by including cinematic models in real time alongside your character. What are some wishes to see in the future for cinematics? Like, will we see our pets again in the cinematics as we did with the Ascended Arbiter Pelagos?
Our cinematics team does such like a great job. We've definitely seen a lot of enhancements over the years with our cinematics, and we are always looking for those opportunities to further push the capabilities of what WoW can achieve. Our real-time cinematics in particular have become very important to the cinematic storytelling, and we definitely want to develop that space even more in the future as well. As for pets, we will look into that. We do love to do that kind of thing where it works in the story and enhances the execution of it, so glad you noticed.
Oh yeah, it was one of the few things I remembered in Shadowlands at the very end of my hunter pet just showing up and looking up at Pelagos with us. It was really cool.
That's all my questions. Expecting to finish so quickly.
Happy to answer more if you would like to throw more in. Yeah, we were perhaps too
Alright.
concise.
Any chance we'll see Thrall at any given point within the patch?
I think that the sort of conflict that's happening within Karesh, I think Locus-Walker really wanted to lean on folks that he knows personally, or you know, he knows of from questing through Legion and such. So unfortunately, Thrall won't be making the journey. It's going to be an Illyria and player family affair.
Okay. No, that was very similar to the first question.
With us going to a planet like Karesh, it's very similar to kind of like Argus. Can we expect a very similar type of vibe from that, of like the islands and all that jazz?
There definitely will be, you know, like islands when you're part of a destroyed planet, but something that's so important to us on the art and world building team when we create spaces is that they have a really distinct identity from each other. And so with Karesh itself, I think the way in which this planet was destroyed, the mysterious way in which this planet was destroyed is unique. And so we try to capture these really like torn, shattered looking shapes that really flow across the landscape. And something that I think is so special about Karesh too is how distinctively we were able to capture these key pivotal locations across the zone that really define the storytelling elements, right? You have Tazavesh, that gives you that element of like city, street structure, gameplay that has this incredible pink shield above it that enhances the idea that you're in a dangerous place and all these energies and debris coming from Karesh are something that we need to protect ourselves from. And then down in the like devastation of the land, we try to create these unique visual moments in the open dunes, sandy areas too. So there's these void touched areas that look like just like sheets of glass, but you can see kind of these nebula forms inside of it where we like the fantasy of it to us was that, really powerful energy touched down and created these areas amongst the disintegrated lands. And then of course, I think the ecodomes are such an iconic feature of Karesh and what we knew of ethereals. So having those in the landscape to give us those moments of nature and beauty are also very distinctive to Karesh versus some of those other destroyed planets that we might have seen. And then at the peak, right, like in front of that massive shattered planet, you have Maniforge Omega, which is the raid. And everything, like the story and the story of Dimensius all leads up to that place. And you can see it just like on the horizon, pulling in these pink energies of the destroyed planet and harvesting it so they can reform this massive threat to us.
And one thing
Alright.
I want to emphasize too, because we didn't in the last major content update undermined, is that you'll be able to skyride from the very beginning because, these shattered Earth fragments, you're going to need to fly to get in between those islands.
Oh, I do like flying. That's great. I do have another question that I was thinking of. So we know that the ethereals, their origins was that they their planet exploded with these void energies and arcane energies. Are we going to see that like take place, like a flashback of sorts?
I don't think we see the moment, no, but we definitely discuss it and talk about exactly how it happened and what happened to Dimensius and such.
Will we in Hearthstone there's a camel-like ethereal mount. Is that something that we will see within the regions of Karesh?
I don't think so. No, we will not see the camel mount. It is iconic. That said, in these ecodomes of Karesh, which like the narrative behind that is the Kareshi people, formerly Kareshi people, the brokers here are trying to recreate the nature spaces of like what was formerly their planet. And so in those locations, you will see wildlife, flora and fauna that is totally unique that we haven't seen it before anywhere on Azeroth. And so there are some cool creatures. One of them has hooves, so maybe, the camel category might get a little fulfilled for you.
All right, great. I do like camels too. How are we getting to Karesh exactly?
Yeah, Locus-Walker helps open a portal from Dornogold directly to Karesh, and you'll be landing directly in Tazavesh as the player hub of this patch.
Ooh, Tazavesh. That's cool. I really liked the vibes of Tazavesh and Shadowlands. I was really hoping that would be a place we could visit and frequent in. So it's really nice to see that Tazavesh is being used for that.
We really felt that way as well. And so we're so excited. We did have to do a little bit of work, to build out the rooftops and areas that were not fully resolved because it was only a dungeon back then with no flying. But I'm so excited for the opportunity for it to really be a city.
All right. I love that. I really do. The Tazavesh is a really was one of my favorite places to go to in Shadowlands. I wanted to go to there way more.
Yeah, I think that when we were first ideating on Ghost of Karesh, um, and we decided to bring Tazavesh back, I was like, oh, that's great because I've always wanted to RP there, and it was such a pain to try to clear out mobs so that we could have the space free for events and such.
Oh, I also roleplay, so that's really great to have for. I love locations, especially like dungeons, where you can frequently visit them and use them for roleplay purposes. Will we? I know that in the not Locus-Walker, sorry, lore walking for Xal'atath, we saw a glimpse of her void form. Is there any chance we might see more of that voidish form from her?
I think that is a solid wait and see.
Okay, that makes sense.
What kind of weapons can we like expect the ethereals to bring to the table, like in terms of like transmog and all that stuff?
Oh, yes, awesome question. So there's a range there. There's stuff that can find out in the world, which has its own unique take. Some of it looks a little bit crystalline, but then there's also stuff that drops from the raid. And so, the raid and a lot of its expansion and the ethereals themselves are made of energy, right? And so the raid actually has these energy looking weapons that I think players I hope players will be really excited at. I personally am very excited.
I think that something that I didn't mention in any other interview is that there are treasures in the open world that lets you collect each of those weapon transmogs.
I really liked the broker flame lightsabers that they that we had in Shadowlands too. Those were really cool. So seeing stuff like that or more of that would be cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
that's
awesome that when specific fantasy of a culture leads to these really unique types of rewards.
In Burning Crusade, we encountered one of the kings of Karesh. Are we going to see any more like royalty, like other like for Burning Crusade, like other Nexus princes, stuff like that?
I think as the course of the campaign and the story of the Ghost of Karesh unfolds, you'll definitely meet other people from the history of Karesh and be able to interact with them significantly.
Awesome.
I think that there's I'm honestly sort of riffing. I think that with a content update like this, where we are bringing light and more lore and more story to like fan favorite species that have been within the game for so long, we take great care to release and reveal new secrets, but also honor what came in before. So I'm really hoping that meeting new characters that held prominence within the old Koreshi sort of hierarchy is exciting and a good opportunity for players to learn more about Karesh.
I was just gonna say I really am I really am happy to see the ethereals play a very prominent role within War Within. They are a fan favorite from Burning Crusade and onward, so it's really cool to see, much like the goblins, getting the spotlight.
Really getting to know them and hearing more of their story really helps like set the stakes for us. And then also, I mean, it really like this is a massive tragedy happened here, right? And so there's so many elements here as you go through the narrative and as you go through ecological succession, which is one of the really cool features of A Ghost of Karesh. There are really emotional moments too narratively that we're really looking forward for players to be able to experience.
Awesome. I know we touched on Princess Kaivessa earlier, but are we ever gonna like learn more about her, like the cartel that she leads through the Delve?
I think it remains a secret, but I think that story hooks and beats that connect to larger nuggets, we always try to look for ways to connect back to them when we're creating new content. So even though there's very little about her secretive background in Ghost of Karesh, I think that leaves the door open for the future.
Okay. That's awesome. I loved the design of Princess Kaivessa and the mystery behind her. So it's very fascinating to get more details about her and her boss and the cartel that she might lead over, especially through the delves, because I really like delves. So that's nice for me.
In general, we're so excited for players to check out Ghosts of Karesh. Whether you are a dungeon runner, a PvPer, someone who likes raids, or someone who enjoys delves, or just only experiences like the outdoor world of the zones, there's really interesting things for you to check out. And the events of Ghosts of Karesh lead to like really pivotal moments that will, set the stage of future stories to come beyond the War Within.
I'm looking forward to all of it. The Ghost Crush sounds awesome.
I think Tina hit pretty much everything I wanted to say there, but honestly, just thank you for playing the game, and thank you for sort of like enjoying the storytelling that we're putting out.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering all my questions and the other questions I had to come up with. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome.